Well, hello there. I recently watched Jean-Claude Van Damme movie I had not seen before. It was on Netflix and it was from the 90s. And I do love 90s action films. It was Sudden Death from 1995. Yeah, I hadn't really seen it before. I didn't even know what it was about. I read the synopsis and it kind of promised to be Die Hard in an ice hockey stadium. That seemed interesting enough, so I gave this film a shot. First, I have to say I've always been more of a Steven Seagal guy, but I do understand why Van Damme also has fans because, to be honest, he has also done some pretty good movies, especially in his earlier films like Bloodsport and Kickbox are really good ones. And also, I've seen Time Cop and Nowhere to Run. What else? Oh, Street Fighter. But Street Fighter is a bad movie. I've also seen some of his late 90s films when his career was going downhill, like Double Team. Sudden Death was in the middle when Van Damme had already peaked. I think he peaked during Hard Target and Time Cop. So Sudden Death was already one of those not so good films from him. This one also didn't get that much money. If we compare this to the previous year's Street Fighter, both of these, both of those movies had a $35 million budget approximately, and Street Fighter grossed almost $100 million, and Sudden Death only 68 million. Uh, it's actually quite a big difference, and $35 million budget and $68 million gross, not so good. So, what did I think of this Die Hard inspired movie? I don't want to say ripoff because there are quite many Die Hard clones that I really do like Under Siege and Cliffhanger, Speed, and other movies like that. So yeah, Sudden Death definitely not the best Die Hard clone, but I gotta say it was still uh, fairly entertaining. There was some like really dumb stuff also, and one of the most disappointing things was that Van Damme he didn't really do that much when you think about it. If you've seen the movie, he doesn't do those cool kicks and splits and stuff like that. But also, I kind of get it because Van Damme plays a ex firefighter who gets into a very sad accident where a little girl dies, and he kind of retires, not completely. He is still like checking that all these fire alarms and other safety equipment and devices work properly. He has two kids, boy and a girl, and he is divorced, which was a pretty weird plot element because it never really went anywhere. It wouldn't have mattered if he was married or not, why he had to be, why that thing had to be there. He meets like his ex-wife's new boyfriend and stuff like that. There's really something going on, but it never goes anywhere. It's it's always kind of weird what you would have to put something like that there if you're not going to do anything with it. So when Dam's character wants to take his kids to watch a hockey game in the Igloo Stadium, it's the Stanley Cup Finals, a game between Pittsburgh Penguins and Chicago Blackhawks. As Van Damme's character and his kids arrive there. Something very fishy is going on in the background when a group of terrorists kidnap the vice president. And the worst of all, the whole building is full of bombs. There's only one man who knows about it. It's Van Damme, of course. And so starts the very die-hardish action adventure that is pretty okay. It's kind of interesting because this film still manages somehow to keep the suspense and be very entertaining, even though the action scenes are not that good. I noticed many occasions where it was just obvious that Van Damme was using a stunt double, and in really odd places too, like when he just has to punch or even kick or just kind of throw himself to the ground. It's a fucking stunt double. I mean, come on. Van Damme was still in pretty good shape at the time, so what the hell was he doing? Was he injured or something? Or I mean, he had some kind of a drug problem in the 90s. I remember something like that. Could that have been the reason? I really don't know, but it was like I was so fucking disappointed. They didn't even try to hide the stunt man. It was so super fucking obvious. We could see his face multiple times. So yeah, that was very lame. The last thing I want is that the action hero, the action star, shows like no effort in doing any of his uh, action scenes by himself. The most memorable and well, the only memorable action scene, fight scene in the film is Van Damme versus a fucking penguin mascot. Yes, this actually happens, and it's pretty damn hilarious and kind of disturbing actually. Holy shit! Yeah, i- if there's one thing worth seeing in this movie, then it's definitely this fight scene. How about the villain? Well, the villain is actually pretty good. He's played by Powers Booth. Yes, that's a pretty cool name. Powers Booth. Yeah, he looks like a villain and acts like a villain. Yeah, he makes a pretty damn good villain, honestly. I really did enjoy his screen presence because it's very, very, very important in this type of uh, diehard style films that the villain is good, the villain is menacing, and here, yes, it is a good villain. What does he want? Money, of course. What else? Okay, more stupid stuff. There's this really, really dumb scene. I laughed my ass off because it was so fucking dumb. So basically, Van Damme's character's uh, son uh, sits with his sister in the audience. Van Damme says to them that, hey, you should not leave. You're not allowed to leave, whatever happens. Wait for me. Well, the boy bullies the sister, and the sister runs away and gets kidnapped, and Van Damme saves him. And at some point, the audience witnesses an explosion, all run outside the building, except the boy, who still sits in the goddamn audience, in the seats. Like, he's alone in the huge arena, and he just sits there waiting his father to arrive. That was supposed to be touching, but that was really, really, really fucking dumb. And later I noticed that a lot of other people also think that it was a really stupid scene. Wow, yeah, this is just pure 90s gold. I love these movies. The way the main bad guy dies is hilariously epic. I just love it. It actually involves a helicopter, kind of like in at the end of Cliffhanger. It's kind of similar to the scene, and the way we just see him die, because we know at one point, yeah, this motherfucker is going to die now. And the director made sure that, yeah, you're gonna fucking enjoy it. It's this very long, slow motion scene where we see this guy just, facing his doom. And it's, oh man, it's hilariously epic, like I said. Holy shit. Yeah. Actually, the more I talk about this movie, the more I actually start to like it and want to see it again. Holy shit. Yeah. But, this was a fun film. Actually, the music, it wasn't that memorable, but I think the composer was pretty well known. John Debney, I think it was his name. He has done some pretty good stuff. But yeah, overall, you had it's just really harmless 90s action fun, but not necessarily that good. I'd give this one 2.5 out of 5. And hey, don't be afraid. This is definitely not my only Van Damme review. I actually just a couple of hours ago, maybe not even that, bought the Universal Soldier, the first movie from 1992, I think it was, on Blu-ray. I've never seen it completely, and it's not on Netflix or anywhere. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see that one, and we'll review it. Yeah, Dolph Lundgren is in it also, so I really hope it's uh, good, or at least entertaining. All right, stay tuned.